Some of conservative Reddit is just now realizing that Trump has a God complex. And while this isn't surprising to most people in the world, almost everywhere in the world has fallen for a narcissistic leader at least once. And yes, even self-proclaimed communists have used these tactics. So let's talk about signs of a narcissistic leader before it gets to this point. I'll spare all of our eyes. So you can think of specific examples that I missed of Trump's narcissism. Feel free to put them in the comments because this is a discussion that we need to have. I'm Dr. Anna Kalschman. I research the unwritten rules of work for the working class and neurodivergence. I'm an industrial organizational psychologist, so all of my work centers on the workplace, but it is shaped by larger cultural trends like we see geopolitically in times of extreme economic hardship and in times of extreme isolation. People are lonely when they are struggling. They crave a strong man. The strong man figure not only a Trump phenomenon, it is also the same phenomenon that made Hitler appealing. It happens in patriarchal societies when we want somebody who's like a father figure. We want the big strong man to come and fix it and make it real simple for us to understand. Don't worry about it. They have all the answers. Just give them all the control and they'll do it. The problem is, life is complicated. It's not so quick to fix. And anybody who pretends they have all the answers is likely a narcissist and lying to you. Strong men also manufacture fear that if you don't follow them, something terrible is going to happen to you and your enemies are going to win. The elusive enemy. What are signs of narcissistic leaders? And there were warning signs with Trump before they start portraying themselves as Jesus. 1, they tap into your loneliness and disconnection. They make you feel a sense of belonging. Isn't inherently a bad thing. Everybody wants to feel belonging, so that's not a first red flag. What are they asking you to belong to? And are they asking you to give up your power and give up aspects of your democracy, for example, in exchange for belonging? 2, they're going to manufacture fear. And if they want to be in power and control, they're going to manufacture fear towards someone who's already vulnerable. They're going to tap into making you feel like you're better than someone else and you deserve more. I've called this the hierarchy scramble. Nobody wants to feel like they're at the bottom of a hierarchy. They want to feel like they're above someone else. And they aspire to be at the top of the hierarchy. So instead of blaming rung number 10 on the ladder, people who actually have control over the situation that you're in economically, globally, we want to blame someone beneath us. With Trump, this was immediately blaming immigrants for everything, which is a repeat cycle we've seen through American history. And several other countries do this as well, especially in the northern hemisphere, of blaming immigrants from the global south, never acknowledging that the northern hemisphere has stolen a lot of the resources from the global south. So of course, eventually people are going to move from where their resources have been stolen to where the resources now are. 3, they are very charismatic, but grossly underqualified. You see this in the workplace too. They're good at seeming confident and decisive, but they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Because actual experts don't come across as confident all the time. Part of what gives people executive presence is people confidently saying yes or no, keeping it really simple. People who understand concepts that are very complex will say, well, in these circumstances, this might happen. In those circumstances, this might happen. Depends on the other variables, or I'm not sure. We haven't seen it play out that way before. A lot of us don't like hearing that. It doesn't sound as confident. It doesn't sound as sure. It doesn't make us feel like they're going to fix the problems. Let's pause a minute and take a moment. Trump told us he was going to fix the problems. How are things going? His promises about tariffs and bringing jobs back. All of the major economic policy institutions were like putting tariffs with no infrastructure to bring manufacturing back to the U.S. Not going to work. It's going to make things more expensive. You have to build the infrastructure first. And what has happened? But those economic experts didn't give the executive presence, didn't give the strong man. We want to believe in a quick fix. Or they're going to normalize one small thing at a time. It is the childhood story I grew up with, ironically, of if you throw a frog in boiling water, it'll jump out. If you slowly turn up the heat, it'll boil alive. This is harder to conceptualize with Trump because he did start pretty strong. He did outwardly glorify dictators like Vladimir Putin. That wasn't slowly turning up the heat. Arguably, the heat has been slowly turned up for several decades in the U.S. and has somewhat always been there. And this is where patriarchal norms, white supremacist norms, norms about domination, and norms that normalize what a man is being very dominant and violent, probably are what normalized this on the way for us. But we did see in 2016 a lot of people when a lot of people crashed out when Trump was elected, and it shocked a lot of people. The people called them dramatic and that it wasn't going to be so bad, and what the hell. And now we're seeing 10 years later, a lot of the things that were afraid to happen did happen. Women's rights have been rolled back. People have been deported who were here legally. He is trying to stay in office past his 2 terms. He has pissed off our allies and defunded scientific research. There were warning signs. Some people see them earlier than others. But some people see them earlier than others when they're in their out group, not their in group, because there are certainly other narcissistic leaders besides Trump, and they're not all in the Republican Party. They're not all in politics. A lot of them are also in business. So we need to look at these situations where people make really grandiose statements, when people pretend to be the expert but can't back it up, as red flags and not as signs that they know what they're doing. And anybody who openly talks about harming someone else, even if you don't like that person, is a red flag. When you join a campaign to take rights away from somebody else, you are joining your pilot testing of what is coming for you.